Hello to you all, and welcome to Pyramid Energy. I was trying to do the longer intro, and I've recorded it about 5 times, and I actually just need to get to the reading. Things are not happening the way they usually happen. I feel like this is part of the energy. I'm also noticing now that I've just skipped all of that things are flowing much faster out of my throat. Isn't it funny? I don't know how this energy applies to you, but what I've been doing lately is laying out all the cards in front of me and then sort of feeling through the energy. And today I laid out one card and I can't seem to stop the streams from coming in before that. And so I thought I'm going to show you all the cards up front. When I'm editing, I'm going to lay them all out. So you're seeing on the screen what I haven't seen yet. I've got one card in front of me. This card is Water Lifeblood. Before I continue with this card, what I want to say is, what I'm observing is that I'm speaking to someone who has tried things differently in their lives. And with this, something new is coming. Things are flowing. Things in unexpected areas. You were focusing on one area, okay? And you made that change, like let's say in one area, one mindset, one choice, whatever it is. And it's had an impact on the rest of your life. It's unlocked aspects of your life you didn't think you would be touching. Perhaps this is something new you're learning, or I'm confirming that this is how things work. You were never meant to change your entire life with one decision. It's not meant to feel that way. How it works is, well, please listen with discernment. Just because I say this is how it works, this is just how it's flowing through me, okay? So I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna say it. When you apply a principle in an aspect of your life because you feel like this makes sense, this feels like it's true, what happens is that that's actually a shift in a framework, and the framework naturally starts to filter out and apply to everything else without your effort, because you've actually changed how you're thinking. You haven't just changed the thing. You've changed how you're thinking. Truth becomes a framework in your life when applied. Okay, so I want you to embrace this going forward, because essentially it makes big changes less daunting. It means that if you try something small somewhere, the impact is much larger. Okay? Things start to flow. Where you were stuck in your life, things are starting to flow. Things feel easier. Okay? You feel more taken care of. You feel like things are flowing. Look at the card. And more than that, there is this volcano in the back, and instead of spitting fire, it's got a rainbow coming out of it. It's got light. It's got new insight. Okay? So what's also happening here is that this change that you've made is actually, it's having far-reaching consequences, is how they're putting it. There are things that you actually have not seen yet where change is being made. There's like a ripple effect that's taken place, not just on your immediate life, but on things around you. You haven't been able to see. So they're saying if things are feeling lighter, look around you and maybe consider the shifts you've made, the kinds of shifts they've made that you were not conscious of. They're saying that it's important to do this because it's your understanding of this and its impact on your life and the various areas of your life is unique. So they're saying you're going to be learning something by just looking around you to see what else has changed. You have not made those links yet. You haven't linked the fact that the way you're feeling different is linked to that one change you made, and look at all the other changes that have happened around you in your life because of this one shift. You're going to be learning something from this observation. I'm shuffling for the next card, and what I'm hearing is like, is that it? Is that all I had to do? Was that really it? It's like you expected it to be so much harder. You expected it to be so much like more of a push and more complicated, and it's just not. We could be talking about anything here. We could be talking about anything. I just recorded a video for members using the same spread that I'm using. Very different energy. Different energy. Same cards, same spread. And I was interested in the nuance. But essentially what I talked about there was that there's a change in perspective in terms of a certain tool that you're applying in your life. So this tool could be a way of doing things, or it could be like a physical tool or a process, whatever it is. It seems like there is sort of something you sort of turned around or changed or removed or deleted or stopped using or reintroduced, whatever it is, into your life or your work or your process, whatever it is, has seemed to bring life back. It seemed to bring life back. What's crossing you is volcano release, which is interesting because this came up in terms of that volcano at the back. You were expecting something to break, something to go wrong, because this thing is something you were keeping to maintain a certain way of doing things. And it's like you've let it go, and, you know, that's made all the difference. It's brought life back. And they're wanting you to see that things don't always happen the way you're expecting. And when I see this number 41 and this number 40, it's as though you expected a regression. And the expectation of that regression through this change caused a delay. I feel like I'm speaking to someone who could be in the middle of this realization, or reflecting on this realization, or about to have this realization. Perhaps this reading is going to bring that to the front for you. The front. Okay? So it being in the position of what's crossing you, I feel like this could be currently somewhat of a block. Currently. Whereas if you actually zone in on this thing that you keep doing, that in your mind you know has been slowing you down, but you know, it's gonna apply differently to everyone. It's a thing. It's quite simple, but it is blocking much more than is obvious. And the reason you're keeping it, if you apply yourself, consider the validity of the reason why you keep it, or keep it or not keep it. So either delete it or introduce it or reintroduce it, whatever, keep it or not. That. Look at the reason why. Okay. Could be a behavior. Could be a tool. Could be a way of thinking. It could be anything. It could be a person. It could literally be so small, and it could literally be so big. Like, it could be anything. And what's coming through the most here is more like, you know, maybe if it's a person, it's like you thought it would be so difficult to deal with this, and it's way easier than you thought it was. And so now it's kind of just immediately changed how you're going to see dealing with people like this going forward, and dealing with them. Like, let's say something took you 3 months to deal with and unpack. It's like, no, and then you start seeing all the other people that you need to deal with the same way, like that kind of ripple effect. And then also this thing, like if it's a small thing, it's kind of like your shock. And I'm getting this from the volcano, that the impact of this shift is actually large. The shock at how much, like, you thought it was small, and it was actually having a way bigger impact than what you were giving it credit for. And thank goodness you changed it. This is making you more productive, this shift. You're more productive. You were losing energy. Okay. When I think of lifeblood, I'm thinking about energy. Whatever this thing is, it doesn't have to be a person, but, you know, processes and ways of thinking and doing things can also be considered energy vampires. If I consider the idea of lifeblood returning, I'm like, well, where was the lifeblood going? Where was the lifeblood stuck? There was a crack in the system where you were losing energy. Okay, sometimes we like using the word energy vampire for other people, and we forget that even if it's another person, it's our own allowance of this thing that is actually the true vampire, because once you put it to a stop, it's done. It's done. And again, I want to keep us in both places here. This could be serious or not serious. Whatever it is, it has brought lifeblood back. I'm also having a little chuckle to myself as I shuffle for the recent past card, but I'm just considering how you can see all the cards and I haven't seen them yet, and there are probably things I'm saying that are already visible to you, and I feel like this thing is like that. It's like already, I think it's like looming and it's waiting for you to just realize it. It's right under your nose. This is so funny because I think that's the title of the membership. It's right under your nose. It's right under your nose. In the recent past, I have moon cycles. And what this is telling me is that you felt like you were in the dark about something. You felt like you were moving through a phase, waiting for something to happen. And so this was not visible to you, that the thing that was meant to happen was not so large, and a lot of clarity in unexpected areas and in things that seemed unrelated. A lot of that clarity was blocked from your view. And they're saying you could really benefit from looking at other things in your life like this. And that was the message in the beginning, like there's a lot more you can unlock here, lots more. They're also saying less is more. Less is more. That's what they're saying. Please apply this in terms of the context that you're already thinking of. But sometimes we overclutter processes with steps and things, and removing something makes it flow better. Sometimes when we consider losing a friend, we think in a sort of a scarcity sort of way of thinking, like, I don't even have that many friends left. If I lose this one, where does that leave me? And you don't even realize that there are like 5 friends waiting to enter, but they can't enter while you are still the type of person that thinks in the certain type of way that you need to be able to keep that one friend. You know what I mean? This applies to all opportunities. If we're talking about a mindset, this is like a certain way of thinking and a certain way of behaving is blocking some other really good stuff. Okay? Again, it's not something complicated, and so please don't overthink this if you haven't been waiting for something. This thing is right there. In your near future, I have dandelion healing and rainbow beauty. So you're going to have more access to yourself. This is a lot of solar plexus, yellow energy coming through. Things are going to start looking brighter. This is going to be a healing time. And a feeling of self-empowerment is going to come over you through realizing things are not as complicated as they seem. It's going to, there was always so much surrounding you, but there are areas where you are blocking yourself by overcomplicating things. These 2 cards are also sharing a lot with me around, and I saw 1414 on the clock as I looked at it. But there's a message here around dreams and wishes coming true. And through your own pursuit of them, through your own ability and agency to pursue these dreams, because you've got your energy back. You've unlocked energy that was already available. Some of it was circulating in your body, making you feel tired because it was trapped by these blocks. Okay? Woo, abundance, apple tree. This is interesting. I'm getting a few messages here. We have talked about some dreams coming true, some wishes coming true, getting your lifeblood back. And this is abundance. This is an abundance mindset. This is an abundance lifestyle. It's talking about having more to share. And because it's this apple tree, it's taking me to the forbidden fruit. There's something about this thing, okay, where you felt like something would fall apart, or you'd miss out on something, or people would think that if you changed it. There was something you felt not necessarily taboo, but maybe like the reason why this works so well is because I have that thing, that. And it wasn't. It was actually a block. It was hiding in plain sight. This next message is coming through just streaming, and it's one of those feelings where I think something's ridiculous, but now it keeps streaming, so I'm going to share it. But this idea of, imagine being colorblind, okay? Imagine not being able to see red, what this card would look like. All it would look like is like you're constantly healing and constantly on this journey of healing and waiting for the abundance, and waiting and speaking nicely about it and working on, your intentions and all of that. I'm getting that from the blue and the green, because I can't see red. And the thing is, the idea of seeing red is bringing up a lot around, seeing red is like getting angry. And it's almost like there are suppressed feelings of frustration and sometimes anger and waiting and like irritation that come up, but you haven't been going to the source. You've been considering the source as something much larger. You thought the source was maybe timing, and the source was something like, something groundbreaking, something large, Look at this volcano release card, as it got red on it. You're thinking it's something big. Meanwhile, it's just actually in your day to day, there could be things that slow you down, annoy you, irritate you, and you could actually just consider removing that thing. And the reason why that thing has not been removed is because you think that it has to be there, and then you remove it, or the opposite, and you can see the apples on the tree. And there's also this idea that, oh my goodness, there's so many, oh my gosh. And you realize that you've actually got the tree, and so you've got the lifeblood, so you can keep feeding this tree with water, and so now it's just going to keep flowing. There's going to be more, and so you're not afraid to pick from the tree, because more is going to grow. It's a tree. It's not just the basket. The basket is what you can share. In your subconscious, I have this snake shedding card. And it's interesting that I have talked about the fact that you thought that this thing was bigger, because it feels like that's what's been underlying, is the sense that you still have healing to do and timing is not right. And, we're shedding. But this snake is taking me to this Chinese year of the snake that we are exiting. I think we're on the tail end. We're exiting, and we are actually in a different time. And so your mindset somewhat is still blaming a lot of things on, blaming is not the best word, but please stay with me. Blaming a lot of things on the healing process and, the larger things and the bigger picture. And this thing is just right there. And, they keep talking about how something is going to arrive unexpectedly. And there's this idea. I think that this is one of those unexpected ways that something arrives, or that something has already arrived and it's unexpected how it's revealed that it was always already there. For a lot of you, I get the sense that this thing actually just stops working. This relationship, this thing, it actually just stops working. So it's kind of like the decision is made for you, because you kind of need to carry on. I think that if we're referring to a human relationship, I believe that there is some guilt that might be there around, the way I'm speaking, it's like you can just discard a person, and I'm not meaning it like that. But I also want to acknowledge that if your lifeblood is blocked by the presence of a person, yeah, you can spend some time feeling guilty, but you really shouldn't. You could pretend to feel guilty, I suppose, but you shouldn't, because nothing is actually worth you losing your lifeblood. Nothing is worse than losing your lifeblood. I got stuck on the word worth and said worse, and it's both, and it's birth. Do you see the words are just flowing through? They both have meaning each time. It's not worth losing your lifeblood. Nothing's worse than losing your lifeblood, and both apply, and it's speaking to me about birthing new things. Birthing new things. The idea of expecting a birth and then not actually having a true birth is painful. So this is what you go through each time your window opens. We open a window every day. That's the truth. And so you never lose an opportunity, but that delay causes problems. I wanted to say, a window opens for you, and then you're not able to sort of grasp that opportunity that the open window comes with. So yes, I don't believe that these portals shut down and, so you're too late. I don't believe in that. Sorry. But each day you have an opportunity, but with each day that you're delayed, it causes sort of an inability to grasp the new opportunity as it comes. And again, if your opportunity has arrived today, just know that tomorrow it's opening again, and the next day, and the next day. Now it's instead of disappointment. In your advice, I have Lotus, resurrection. And this is also bringing me back to the snake shedding idea of a lot of healing happening. Look at the dandelion healing card. This card actually says healing, which is in the time that you're moving into. But this Lotus resurrection is saying, like, this is your resurrection, and it's saying your healing has paid off. Embrace this time of your life. You are not stuck in the healing journey. You're not stuck in the healing process. You are not still stuck in the healing process. If this message is for you, you were under the impression that you are still dealing with remnants of healing, when actually it's just like flipping one switch. Right now it's just flipping one switch, and it's taking me back to the moon card. I'm just thinking about sitting in a dark room and the light switch is right there. It's like someone came in and changed the light bulb while you were out, and so you have not got access to fresh light bulbs, and so you're sitting in a dark room because kind of it's your circumstance. Meanwhile, someone came and changed the light bulb, and you just have not flipped the switch because you assume that you still have to sit in the dark because you assume that your light bulb has not been changed. It feels like that. I'm getting so much Genesis energy here. Because I heard, and there was light. This reading is a bit corny. It's a little bit corny, but this is it. It feels like new life, a new story, everything. And under the deck, I have Earth Home. It like literally is saying new Earth. I don't want to go too much into what this new Earth story is about, because I actually haven't read fully what it's about and what it means for everyone. But if that term means anything to you, apply it as it fits. In your surrounding factors, I have, underneath the deck, I just want to say I've got air, ruach, okay? This is interesting, and it has a number 1 on it. But in your surrounding factors, I have mountain intention. I had to pull a second card for clarity, but already mountain intention was giving me the message that what's happening around you is that it's as though you've been made to believe that it requires lots of intentions and it's going to be a big mountain to climb and all of that. And I just thought, this is getting a bit tricky. But I asked for clarity, and I got owl intuition, and immediately that confirmed for me this feeling that there's a lot of narrative and messaging around, flying around, because now I've got like a helicopter above, a lot of messaging flying around this kind of stuff, which makes you think that what's going on is a big deal. I'm speaking to someone who has done a hell of a lot of healing, and it feels like enough. And I'm not saying stop healing, but I'm saying like, you're not in the section of the house where there's so much healing to be done, and that's why stuff's not working. And when I saw this air ruach card underneath, it really confirmed that this stuff can mess with your thoughts. It can mess with your thoughts. So it's important to always have discernment, and always also not, this was in that first message I shared when we started 2026, that there's going to be a lot of, I'll link it in the description box below if you haven't heard it, but this year, a lot of density out there that can, as you listen to stuff, you can think that you've still got lots to do. You've still got mountains to climb. And if you know that that's not you, to not listen to it, not necessarily block it out and run away from it, not necessarily that. There's a lot to be learned through listening to some readings that don't apply, as long as you've got your lens of discernment on. But this feels like one of those where it was actually quite simple and not that complicated. They just slowed me down with my right ear. Something came through around divergence is the word I heard. The idea that there was a split, sort of. I can't say if it's 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, but I'm seeing divergence, I'm seeing 2, okay. There was a split of people, energy, okay, where there are those that chose or have chosen the path of integration. This is a path of integrity. The fact that these two words have different meanings when you look them up in the dictionary doesn't change the fact that they actually have the same root. Integrity and integration go together. When you don't integrate it, your journey, your life, things begin to lack integrity. Okay, they begin to lack truth, because truth is being kept separate from the being. And so once truth is learned, when it's not being applied, the being that's needing truth to be applied to it begins to lack integrity. There's been a divergence. And so because we all live in the same environment, there are times where there's still the narrative of work and beings that is unintegrated, that lacks integrity, that lacks integration. I'm not being judgmental. I'm just sharing what's coming through. And that is not where you are. And if you're listening and you're starting to see yourself maybe more clearly, this is kind of one of those messages where it's like, this could be you. And it's not that, that's not that complicated, is start applying some of these things in small areas. You are going to get your energy back. You're going to get your life back. You're going to get your lifeblood back. You're going to get your 10 of cups. You're going to see changes in your life. Some of these changes seem so daunting. Some of these changes, it feels so daunting. And sometimes you hear someone telling you the truth and you're like, it's too much, too dark, too much. And actually it's not that complicated. It's like that big, fancy tool that looks so complicated. It comes with a thick manual, but actually, if you just put the manual aside and you just feel your way around and you just flick around, it works just as it would have worked if you'd read the manual. The manual takes so much longer. You could just flip the switch. You could just feel through it intuitively. And some devices work like that. They're very intuitive. Some are complicated. And this feels like this thing is not that complicated. And it will literally change your way of life because you tried to make one change. as we integrate, let me just tell you this, as we integrate, we sort of then embark on the journey of becoming addicted to integrating, okay? Because once you realize what integration does in your life, you start looking and searching for other areas you can integrate more truth. You start interrogating truth. You start interrogating the narrative. You start really questioning, yeah, but is it true? You know? And you start doing that. So give yourself some room, you know, rate yourself a bit more. You're capable of way more than you credit you give yourself. Okay. No more preaching. Yeah. In your area of what you want the most and fear the most, I have desert thirst. And so this has created this worry that, you're never going to get there. And this is actually, a lack of water, love, care, wisdom. These all apply to water. They do. And I'm also seeing the idea of wisdom crossing over from water to air, because, you know, wisdom does require thought, and thought is air energy. And so they're saying to embrace air and thought. It's like air has been captured. I feel like thought for a long time was captured under this old guard of toxic narrative. There's a lot coming through here. And you're actually free. You have freedom of thought. And you're free to apply things the way you want to apply them. I definitely feel like we've just done like a double level reading because that's why I didn't want to let go of the idea that this could be something small or something big, because it could be a mindset or it could be a simple flip of a switch and a tool. I feel like it's multi-level, this thing, and it's intertwined. And so I'm speaking to someone who's kind of like also, if you haven't quite seen this, you still in the energy of waiting and you're kind of there. And so this is information, confirmation to look out for the areas that, the little things that frustrate you and that are annoying you, is to not just, don't let them go any longer. Don't let them go any longer. Ask yourself whether they belong. Ladies and gentlemen, and even those who don't relate to those two ways of being referred to them. Eagle vision. This is like, I can see clearly now. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. And how does it go? It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I'm gonna end this here. Oh, I love doing this reading. From as soon as I laid down the first card, because I did a reading before this, like I mentioned, the energy was just moving. It was flowing. It's so good to be able to feel in a container when energy shifts, when you start to feel it. It's like a new room. It's like a new place. I'm not saying anything was wrong with that energy. It's just that the energy, especially when I'm doing a reading, shares its message. The energy shares its own message. And so I acknowledge it. I want to say to all of you who support the channel that I'm so grateful. I also want to say one of the things I have been so grateful for lately, so grateful for, is your comments. I have not been responding to comments as frequently and as much as I used to at the moment. I don't know if this is going to change, and it might change, but the reason is that a lot of the comments, some of them so rich, and some of them I actually want to address a concern that's been expressed or whatever it is, but they get me into my thought space. They get me thinking. And I found that if I apply myself more to the readings, you actually have a better chance of getting like the kind of like more of my loving energy, where you can actually get your answers out of there. If you have a question, I'm considering doing a video responding to questions. Please leave your question. A video, not a reading. Please do leave your question. It might take me some time. I want to see how that goes, but I want to just share that that's my reason for not engaging as much in the comments. Please rest assured, just know that I read every single one, as always, even the responses underneath. The love that you've shared, I soak it all in. Some of it makes me cry. And again, to sit and express how I'm feeling, it's a lot. It's a lot. And it would take me a lot of time as well if I dedicated myself to the comments. I appreciate them so much. I felt like I needed to address that rather than just make my decision and move right along. And if I do respond to a comment, please, I hope nobody takes that personally. Thank you all so much for everything that you do for me and for the channel and for yourselves. Sending you so much love.